Hi, I'm Fraser Douglas, the avid tent camper. In this short video, I want to talk a little bit about washing sleeping bags. We've had our Teton Mammoth sleeping bags now for about 2 years and never washed them. Ava began to say that she thought they smell bad, and so we have decided today to wash them. It is going to be an all-day affair. Stay tuned. This sleeping bag is 2 large synthetic filled quilts that can be zipped together to make a double wide sleeping bag. But we have never zipped it completely together. Instead, we just zip one side together and open it up to make an extra large quilt that more than covers our king-size bed. We selected this particular bag because we wanted an extra large quilt rather than mummy sleeping bags. In cool weather, we just wear extra clothes, including polyester athletic pants, a polyester hoodie, and wool socks. We also selected this particular bag because it was rated down to 20 degrees, and we thought it would provide ample warmth in all 4 seasons here in the southeastern United States. And we were not wrong. It has been a very warm and comfortable bag. And I prefer a synthetic filled bag over a down filled bag because a synthetic filled bag is easy to clean, it dries quickly when it's wet, and if it gets wet, it will still keep you warm. The only limitations of this bag that I can see are it requires a considerable amount of packing space, and it is relatively heavy. And this weight is multiplied exponentially when it gets wet. When it gets dirty, you have several cleaning options. You could find a local cleaner that might clean it, or you could contact REI and they would help you find a professional service that would clean it. But professional cleaning would probably take 2 to 3 weeks and cost well over $100 for a bag this size. And so we decided to clean it ourselves. First, we filled the tub with lukewarm water and put in about a 1/4 cup of Woolite detergent, which is a very mild detergent, and we washed it in the tub. Now, the sleeping bag soaks up a lot of water, and so when we first put it in, it soaked up all the water, so we had to add more water. And then once we washed it in the Woolite, then we actually we started with half of the sleeping bag. And once we washed that half in the tub, then I moved it, drained as much water as I could, and moved it to this tub. And now this is the second half, which I have washed, and then I drained all of the water, and now it is rinsing now, and it's about ready to remove. And once we remove it, we'll drain the water as much as we can, and then very carefully pick the sleeping bag up from the bottom, and try not to let any of it hang, because if it hangs, the wet water can tear the insulation inside. We're going to move that out to our deck and lay it flat on the floor of the deck to let it begin to dry. And then once we get that one to the deck, then I'm going to move this one to the tub and let it begin to rinse, and eventually move it out to the deck. Here is the first half that has been washed. I dumped it out onto the deck, and now Ava is spreading it out to dry. Here I am running the water now to rinse the second half, laid out in the tub. I'm rinsing the soapy water out of the sleeping bag, and it looks like it's all rinsed. And so now I'm going to drain this water Okay, I'm just trying to drain as much water as I can before we try to pick it up. There's still a lot of water inside this bag, and I want to try to squeeze out as much as possible. Most of the water has drained, but I know there's still a lot of water that's trapped inside of this bag, and so I'm going to push it up into a ball up against that back wall to try to get more water out. Again, I want to try to get as much water out as possible so that when we pick it up, we won't tear the insulation inside the sleeping bag, the synthetic insulation inside this sleeping bag. So I'm trying to squeeze as much water out as I can before we try to carry it out to the deck. Now I'm going to turn it over. We moved it to the back porch where it stayed out on a nice sunny day for about 5 hours. But at the end of the day, the sides were still a little wet, and so I moved them to our garage to continue drying overnight. In the morning, they were still wet, especially around the edges and in the corners. In retrospect, I realized that I should have tried to squeeze out more water before laying them out to dry. It's been about 30 hours now since we washed the sleeping bag, and it's almost completely dry, but I still want to leave it out for another day or two to be sure that it's absolutely dry before I pack it away. You can find a good description of this sleeping bag washing procedure along with many other valuable family camping skills in my book titled Basic Tent Camping. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this little video. I hope that you've learned something new that you can use to help you clean your sleeping bags in the future, and I hope it gives you the courage to undertake the task of cleaning your sleeping bags more often. Remember, take more trips, travel further, visit more attractions, and save money. Go tent camping. For more information about valuable family tent camping procedures, please subscribe to this channel, visit my website, and watch this video featured below. Thanks for watching.